Nobody wants to see the Hornets in the playoffs. They are currently sitting at the 8th seed in the East, and this might be the best 8th seed we have ever seen. You have LaMelo Ball, who is an unstoppable offensive weapon. Con Knueppel, an elite shooter, who is in the lead for Rookie of the Year. Brandon Miller, a perfect crowd pleaser with energetic dunks and great shooting. Don't be surprised if this team makes a deep run in the playoffs because it's looking insane. To understand what the Hornets are doing right now, you need to know where they were just a few months ago because it was genuinely bad. Charlotte opened this season 4 wins and 14 losses, and by January 21st, they had slid to 16-28, parked in 12th place in the Eastern Conference and looking every bit like a team about to hand in its lottery ticket for the 10th straight year. 10 years. The last time Charlotte made the playoffs was 2016, which means 9 consecutive seasons of watching other teams compete in May and June. The longest active playoff drought in the NBA and the longest in Eastern Conference history, full stop. The 2024-25 season ended at 19-63, with LaMelo Ball suiting up for only 47 games and Brandon Miller playing just 27, and when the Hornets sat at 16-28 in late January this year, nobody batted an eye. And then something flipped. Late January brought a 9-game winning streak that tied the second longest in franchise history and stood as their longest stretch of consecutive wins since April of 1999. But here's the thing. They weren't grinding out ugly victories. At one point during the surge, Charlotte won 6 consecutive games by 15 points or more, a stretch CBS Sports research confirmed hadn't happened since the 2017-18 Golden State Warriors, who won the championship that year. Only the 2003-4 Detroit Pistons ever strung together more wins of that margin, winning 8 straight on their way to the title. The result, 16-28 in late January became 32-21 just 42 days later, and a March road trip to Boston ended with the Hornets dismantling the number 2 seed in the East by 29 points at TD Garden. Since January 21st, only the San Antonio Spurs posted a better record in the entire NBA. Since January 1st, Charlotte ranks first in offensive rating across the entire NBA, posting a 119.8 mark that puts them ahead of every other team in the league. Their net rating over that stretch slots them 3rd league-wide, and that's a 2-month sample now, not a 2-week fluke. What nobody expected is that even the bad early stretch didn't bury their season-long numbers. For the full year, Charlotte has outscored opponents by 4.7 points per 100 possessions, the 6th best mark in the entire NBA. They rank 4th in offensive rating for the full season at 117.8 and 3rd in 3-point percentage. NBA.com's John Schumann, who has covered the league for more than 20 years, called them one of the most improved teams he'd ever tracked. The single biggest reason Charlotte turned this season around is also the most straightforward. LaMelo Ball stayed healthy. Coming into 2025-26, his durability was the defining question mark, and for good reason. 2024-25 ended with ankle and wrist procedures after just 47 games, and his older brother Lonzo's career was essentially ended by injury. That shadow followed LaMelo everywhere. What happened instead is that Ball opened the season on October 26th against Washington with 38 points, 13 rebounds, and 13 assists, becoming the first player in Hornets franchise history to drop at least 30 points and 10 assists in a season opener. For the full year, his averages sit at 19.5 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 7.1 assists. And since the All-Star break, those numbers have climbed to 20 points, 6.7 assists, and just 2.1 turnovers per game. In 2024-25, he carried a 35.9% usage rate, the highest in the league and the 23rd highest single-season mark in NBA history. This year, with better players around him, Ball doesn't have to end every possession himself, and the result is a version of him that's more efficient, more available, and considerably more dangerous. Selected 4th overall in the 2025 draft out of Duke, Knueppel arrived with a reputation as an elite shooter and not much else. What he's done in year 1 is break records, averaging 19.3 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 3.5 assists while shooting 48.9% from the field and 43.6% from 3. His efficiency marks the most productive rookie season in NBA history for any player scoring over 15 points a night. 4 straight Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month awards, 1 game missed all season. Newell broke the NBA single-season rookie record for three-pointers made, passing Keegan Murray's mark from 2022 to 23, while also breaking the Hornets' own franchise record that previously belonged to Kemba Walker, 261 threes made, and leading the entire league. He also tied Michael Jordan for the most games by a rookie posting 20-plus points with 65% or better true shooting. Dirk Nowitzki on the Rookie of the Year race. I wish we could give it to both, meaning Newell and Dallas's Cooper Flagg. Newell's own take was characteristically understated. I think maybe I've surpassed my expectations for myself a little bit. Brandon Miller spent most of his young career being described as a future star, and this season, the future showed up. After playing just 27 games in 2024 to 25, Miller has been available for all but 1 game since early December, averaging 20 points per game in his 3rd season. In the blowout win over Indiana on February 26th, the same night Newell set the rookie three-point record, Miller dropped 33 points on 11 of 19 shooting with 6 threes. Ball, Miller, and Newell all shoot from deep, all create off the dribble, and all move well without the ball. And opposing coaches have found no clean answer for it. Beyond the trio, Miles Bridges recently moved into 3rd place all-time in Hornets franchise scoring. Moussa Diabate anchors a defensive rebounding unit that ranks 1st in the NBA since January 1st, and trade deadline addition Kobe White, a North Carolina native, averaged 22.5 points per game in his 2 earlier appearances at the Spectrum Center while still playing for Chicago. "Every time I come back to Charlotte to play," White said, "it just felt different. I just felt the love every time I was in the building." Charlotte's record in games decided by 5 points or fewer in the final 5 minutes sits at 10-17, the worst mark among any of the 20 teams currently in playoff or play-in position. Their 4 perimeter starters have combined to shoot just 23% from 3 in those clutch situations. That's the number opponents will point to. The counter-argument is that historical data shows teams performing worse in clutch situations than they do overall tend to overachieve in the playoffs, not underachieve. Charlotte's dominance is built on structural efficiency and early separation, and that kind of foundation tends to hold when the calendar flips to April. 3rd in three-point percentage, 4th in offensive rating, 6th in net rating, 22-6 since January 21st. 8 wins in their last 10 games heading into the final week, with the Knicks, Celtics, Suns, Pacers, and Magic all taken down along the way. The last time Charlotte appeared in the play-in, back in 2021-22, they lost both games, one by 27 points, one by 29. The team taking the floor this April is not that team, and the rest of the East knows it. 9 consecutive years of missed playoffs left Charlotte as one of the easy stories to ignore. This year, the numbers aren't asking for permission to say otherwise. Whether they come in through the play-in or climb into the top 6, the message from Charlotte heading into April is the same one that's been building since January. Nobody wants the Hornets on their schedule, and after 9 years of being nobody's problem, this team has clearly decided that's exactly the point.